Hey everybody, it's Yoli Medina, and today I'm going to be talking about the Laramie versus the City of Moscow case. And this is a case arising out of the Bryan Kohberger case. And for those of you who have been following the Bryan Kohberger case, he has pled guilty to taking the lives of 4 students: Maddie Mogen, Xana Kernodle, Kaylee Gonzalez, and Ethan Chapin. He pleaded guilty, and they were brutally unalived at home near the campus of University of Idaho. And the families have filed an action to prevent photographs and body cam of the crime scene, and I say that loosely because they wanted everything barred, including anything in the house that belonged to the students, anything showing their underwear, their shoes, things like that. They wanted it barred from being released to the public. Now, Law and Crime had already released a body cam, and photographs were also released by the Idaho State Police. The graphic nature of the body cam and the videos, or the body cam and the pictures were they were redacted. And I initially thought that Law and Crime redacted them, but it was actually the City of Moscow that redacted the body cams of the rooms where the victims were found unalived. So that's they were basically saying, the family was basically saying that they have a privacy right in not having those photographs and body cams released. But they went even further to say that anybody outside the house who discovered, the unalivings, or who knew of the unalivings that were outside crying, that was also, they wanted to prevent that from coming out. So they went a little bit over, and the court recognized that. And so public records, body cams, things like that regarding an investigation, it's presumed that they are public records and they are to be released to the public. So the Laramies, that's Maddie Mogen's family, and the Chapins, that's Ethan Chapin's family, they filed an action to prevent the release of graphic photos to rebut that presumption. And Idaho does allow that to occur. And basically, you have to have 2 things. You have to have a privacy interest, and also damage or injury, and to restrain the graphic photographs and graphic videotape of the scene. And so the court found that both were met, but only as to the graphic death scenes and the surrounding area. The rest is public record. So that presents an issue because we know, those of us following the case, that the knife sheath was found under Maddie Mogen's body. And presumably there's video, body cam of when it was found, and there's also pictures of where the knife sheath was. We're not going to be able to see that, unfortunately. I mean, there's ways that it could be redacted to only show the knife sheath, but the judge even went so far to say that even redacted photographs or body cam just showing any surrounding area would be too much for the family. So, I mean, some of this has already been released, so I don't know how that's going to work. But the death scenes, the graphic scenes, have not been released, and they're not going to be released. And so that's the exception to the Public Records Act in Idaho. Now, it was the city, they brought the action against the city of Moscow. And the question is, well, what about the ISP, the Idaho State Police photographs? And I don't know, I don't think they wore body cam, but the ISP photographs, or the FBI's photographs, I think this order encompasses the Idaho State Police and the FBI. And the reason being is because Moscow, Idaho was a lead agency in this case, and they requested the help of the Idaho State Police and the FBI. And so I think it falls under that realm, in that the ISP and FBI stepped into the role of Moscow, Idaho State Police to help them. So, presumably, I would think that they would have taken a picture of the knife sheath separate and apart from where it was found. I haven't seen any photographs or video of the knife sheath that, where DNA was where they swabbed the button snap and got the DNA of Bryan Kohberger through investigative genetic genealogy. They had to work up a tree, and it went to the Otham lab, and then the FBI took over, and finally they were able to make a match. So, that led to, Pennsylvania, where they arrested Bryan Kohberger. So, I mean, I don't live in Idaho. If I did, I would certainly I'd probably wanna go inspect the evidence. I mean, I think, you can go see it, but I don't live in Idaho, and, I mean, that would be kinda crazy. But for those people who are still struggling with, how why did he plead guilty? Or was he forced to plead guilty? Or where's the knife sheath? I mean, I gotta admit that not showing us a picture of the knife sheath separate and apart from where it was found is kinda suspicious. Did it ever exist? People have thoughts, and to alleviate those thoughts, you would think that the city of Moscow would want to produce, evidence of the knife sheath, that it existed and it's here. I mean, it's natural for people to question, and while, Bryan Kohberger pled guilty, I don't know the reasons other than he's guilty that he pled guilty. I mean, there might be other people involved, and I go back and forth because there are people who plead guilty who are not guilty, and they just plead guilty to avoid the death penalty. So I have no idea of the circumstances regarding Bryan Kohberger, but I'm certainly open to anything. And for those people who think that Bryan Kohberger is innocent, well, that's your opinion, and I'm not gonna get upset because you think that, and you know, I'm not sure what I think at this point. I just want information, and that is trickling slowly, and hopefully we'll see a picture of the knife sheath. Otherwise, I might be a little suspicious about that if I don't see it, but that's just me. Anyway, those are my thoughts and my opinions. Now, the court never said anything about ISP or the FBI photographs or videotapes. So, but I'm just assuming that because they came in to assist the Moscow city, that they would be covered under this order. But anyway, those are my thoughts. I'll talk to you guys later.